29th.
The mayor's update.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
we had to change
New
it.
Year's update?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mayor's television show.
Yeah, must see TV. Call the meeting to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Mary Beth.
Nelson. Larson.
Here.
Wunschel.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Reed. Orison.
Here.
Bulk.
Here.
Okay, we'll proceed to item 3, the consent agenda. Item A is a motion to approve City Council minutes of December 5, 2022. B is a motion for licenses to approve new Class C liquor license for Century Farms Distillery, subject to final approval by the Iowa ABD.
So moved.
Motion made by Lauren, second by Tom. Any discussion? Please vote by machine.
Nelson. I. Larson. I. Wunschel. I. Hanson. I. Reed. I. Orison.
Aye.
Bulk.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have no old or new business, so we'll proceed to item 4, public hearings. Item A is a public hearing on proposed plans and specifications, form of contract, and estimate for 2023 East Side Reconstruction and Sewer Separation Project. I declare the public hearing now open. Were there any written comments against?
We have none, Your Mayor.
Oral comments against? Any written comments in favor of?
We have none, Mayor.
Any oral comments in favor of? I declare the public hearing now closed. Item 1 is a resolution approving and confirming plan specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for the 2023 East Side Reconstruction and Sewer Separation Project.
Make a motion on that, Mayor?
Motion made by, well, before we get to that, should we have Brian come up?
Oh, yeah,
Should we
well,
get-
or do we?
Let's
We
get
got a
this
motion
on. Yeah,
first,
okay.
right?
Okay, motion made by Ron.
Second.
Second by Donovan. Okay, now we can proceed. Sorry, Brian.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. The 2023 East Side Reconstruction and Sewer Separation Project basically serves 2 main purposes. One is to reconstruct East 4th Street from 5th Avenue East to 10th Avenue East, and then to separate the stormwater runoff from the existing combined sewer within the project area. The project's going to start at 6th Avenue East with the extension of the storm sewer between East 3rd Street and East 4th Street. That sewer was actually started in 1995 and outlets at the Little Sioux River. That block of street pavement will be widened to 31 foot, and the existing sanitary sewer and water main will also be replaced during that reconstruction of that block. East 4th Street will be widened to 35 foot wide, and that'll be an 8-inch thick reinforced concrete pavement. The existing sanitary sewer and water main will also be replaced while that street is torn up for those 5 blocks. Typical on these last few projects, we'll also be replacing any lead water services and replacing the sanitary sewer surfaces behind the curb for those property owners, just so we don't have to tear up that street in the near future. That's the goal. Black Hills Energy is also replacing some water main, or not water main, gas main in those 5 blocks in preparation for that project. Storm sewer laterals will be constructed up to East Fifth Street to separate all those stormwater intakes from Fifth Avenue to 10th Avenue. There'll be a few spot sanitary sewer replacements and water main replacements also associated in that area. Project has a construction estimate of $2.4 million. The city received $600,000 in community block grant funding and also $453,000 in DOT swap funding. SMU is contributing approximately $350,000 towards the construction costs for their water main replacement. That leaves about $1 million of construction costs for the city. Soft costs, engineering, other associated project costs will be split proportionally between SMU and the city. Contract scheduled to be completed in the 2023 construction season. We're allowing 125 working days on the project. This project is being let through the DOT, so the contractor only gets charged days on when the weather or conditions are fit to allow them to work on controlling project items. We're trying to accommodate local property owners by limiting access, or their access can only be limited to a maximum of 30 working days. And that's working days, not calendar days, so depending on the weather, that could be, 6-7 weeks. We're hoping for good weather and good progress on the project. This project will separate 39 acres of existing combined sewer. This project was identified in the 2009 sanitary sewer evaluation study, and it's part of the city's long-term goal of separating all the combined sewers. There will be a designated detour route while East 4th Street is closed, so traffic will either go up 4th Avenue or 10th Avenue and then cut across on Milwaukee Street. And we've limited that to 75 working days, so depending on the weather, that could be about 4 months that East 4th Street will be closed. There's a few other minor restrictions as far as working days, but that's the gist of it. The DOT letting will be on January 18th at 10 o'clock. This project will utilize the DOT standard specifications and their contract administration procedures, which makes a little bit more work on our end, but for the $453,000 in funding, it's well worth it for the city. We also sent out letters to property owners at the beginning of November for everybody within the project area, just so they would know what's going on and what to expect. We anticipate, we'll hopefully get a lot of interest in the project. And once a pre-construction meeting has been held, we'll probably update the property owners on what the anticipated schedule will be. I think that's most of the main points. If you got any other questions.
Anybody have any questions?
If everything goes according to plan, Brian, when would you estimate you might start this?
So we have a late start date on May 15th of this year. Now, that doesn't mean the contractor has to start on that date, but we start counting working days. So if they decide not to start that early, that just means later on in the summer, they're probably going to have to contribute more resources to get the project done without incurring liquidated damages. We wanted to keep an open construction window as possible, but we also don't want to run into weather issues late in the fall.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Anybody else?
Yeah, question on those working days, is that just Monday through Friday, or is that,
That's correct. Monday through Friday, they get free work on Saturdays.
okay, so there is,
So
But-
say if there's, if you figure an average of 4 decent days a week,
Right. My other question might be for Mark White. On East Milwaukee, on the detour street there, is there gonna be a restriction on truck traffic, or how is that street constructed for wear and tear?
Yeah, it's an industrial area, heavy street.
Okay. All right.
There's,
thank you.
good question. There's a few areas where
Well,
it's a little rough, but it's definitely strong enough.
All right.
Brian, do we ever get, and I don't know if we have on this project or not, and I've never heard this in the past, but people who may have accessibility issues, do we work with them in some way, you know, because they are going to be inconvenienced by the project, and if they have accessibility issues anyway, it's going to be even more so.
That's always a challenge on these projects, especially on the south side of East Fourth Street. There's not an intersection at all between Sixth Avenue and 10th Avenue.
Right.
I know we've done full blocks around the country club and even on 4th Avenue West when we did that. We just do the best we can.
Okay.
Sometimes they've used maybe some motorized golf carts or vehicles when typically that wouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, I think we did that at the country club, didn't we?
Yeah.
We made some accommodations for folks out there. Yeah, okay.
And they can park on side streets, but even those side street intersections can get really crowded
Right.
with construction equipment. And
Okay.
we understand it'll be a big inconvenience.
Okay.
We just try to accommodate them the best we can.
All right. Okay. Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, this is Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
This question, I just thought of this as I was sitting here listening to the comments, and I think he indicated that there's going to be, so there may be some work that Black Hills Energy is going to do. Did I misinterpret that or not?
No, I don't think so. I'll let Brian
Yeah,
answer that.
that's not
though.
actually part of the construction contract, but they're moving some infrastructure to allow for the widening on East Fourth Street. And on Sixth Avenue East, if you remember, where we got some right-of-way and are widening that right-of-way and shifting the street at a taper a little bit, so
Yeah,
that,
my only question is if we're exposing pipe for them so it's easier for them to lay in their gas pipe, do we get compensated in any way because we did the excavating?
actually, they're gonna have the work done before we even start. They were gonna start this week, but the weather, there's no point at this. It's not gonna be productive.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Anyone else? Okay.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, please vote by machine.
Nelson, I. Larson, I. Winchell, I. Hanson, I. Reed, I. Orison,
Aye.
Bulk.
Aye.
Okay, resolution passes. Item 2 is a motion to approve the IDOT bid letting on January 18, 2023 at 10 a.m. Motion made by Lauren,
Second.
second by Tracy. Any discussion? Please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, Brian, engineers report?
This is a short agenda.
You bet.
Basically, Valley Contracting is run into weather issues, so they suspended work on the 25th Street sewer project. They know groundwater is as low as it's been. They're anxious to get started as soon as the weather's fit in the spring. And I would say they're about a quarter done with that project. And then we're working diligently on the North Y development. We've submitted some designs to Quickstar and then just moving forward with some easement acquisitions and final design process. I think we're looking forward to maybe scheduling a committee meeting early in January to nail down the final details and move towards a letting.
Good. Sounds good. Any questions? Okay, thanks. City managers report, Dan?
Couple things. I mentioned in my update, they're working on a proposal from Retail Coach. I need to touch base with Brian on the best time to sign the contract because they have certain amount of time after signing the contract that they want paid, and need to make sure that works with our finances and that sort of thing. Also working on some public participation. I shouldn't call it software because it's more of an online thing, but this is gonna become pretty important when we start addressing our WOW projects and some of the other projects our facilities plan and some of those other projects. It's gonna be pretty important to get a feel for what the public's thinking on some of that stuff. And we're working on a 2080 agreement with the school for the operation of the tennis courts. The school has to review it yet, but the preliminary look at it looks like they're okay with it. They just haven't officially taken a look at it yet. It'll probably be after the holidays before they get to it, since everybody goes on vacation this time of year. But other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, any questions for Dan?
Dan, on the retail segment or whatever with the company, have we had any meetings on that, or are we, I mean, I seen the information in the packet and stuff, but, and have we, as a council, authorized the hiring of that company?
No, well, they have not, and we'll be more about that later once we get that figured out. I need to have a more firm grasp about when we should take a look at that, and then we can have a committee meeting and go over that.
All right.
Because I understand there's some issues, so we need to discuss that.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay, under the mayor's report, first of all, I want to congratulate the city employees for their work this past year. They've done an outstanding job, and I especially want to hand out some platitudes to Public Works, Public Safety, and the parks, especially this last month with the snow events and cold weather. It is really tough for them, and I think that everybody working for the city, and especially in those departments this time of year, but everybody in the city really works hard to push the city forward and make us a progressive community. The other thing The other thing I want to mention is I want to wish everyone a blessed holiday season and a terrific new year. And to that end, even though this is a season that we think of with goodwill and peace and festivities, it can be really a tough time for many people who do not have family, maybe homeless or suffering from food insecurity. We're fortunate in this community that we have a lot of people that reach out to their neighbors. With that in mind, on Thursday, December 29th, my guests on the mayor's update are going to be 3 or 4 people who are working in the community to address homelessness and are addressing food insecurity. And we have to realize that that is an issue within our community. So again, have a wonderful holiday season and safe travels for those who are on the road. Council and committee reports.
All I have right now is the council meeting on Tuesday, January 3rd.
Okay. And make a note, that's on a Tuesday, not the Monday. Okay. Item 9, motion to approve bills and claims.
So moved.
Motion made by Ron. Second by Tom. Any discussion?
I think we need to realize that that list hasn't been provided to us yet. I think this motion should be subject to any, I don't see any issues with it, never has been, but I think it should be noted just to make a clarification, and we'll probably get that list tomorrow.
Okay, duly noted. We can get that out to everybody.
Yeah, Bill, this is Brian. I I just got back from vacation at 5 o'clock, and then
Yep.
staff had said they had a couple questions on coding of 2 bills, so I haven't had a chance to review them. But yeah, the intent is once we get that list done, we'll email it out to the council, and then we'll hold off on writing checks for, till maybe Wednesday or so to allow for any comments from the council.
You want an affirmative comment back as long as we're okay with them, so you got it clear in your minutes?
No, the minute, we'll just take silence as affirmation,
Okay.
Okay.
unless
I just
there's
wanna make-
questions,
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to make sure, just because the list isn't included in what was sent out to the public, and I just want to make sure that the public's aware of what was.
Yeah, and then we'll attach it to the agenda as well, so then that does get attached to the agenda that is publicly available too, so if there are, so we'll make them that way, because I believe those agendas stay out there, right, Mary Beth?
Yes, they do.
So, once we get it, we'll send it, attach it to the agenda, and then we'll also send it out to the council, but then we'll
Okay,
put a deadline, so,
thank you for the clarification.
yep.
Well, and thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. Okay, any other comments? Okay, subject to that, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item 10, other business and opportunity to address the council. Okay. Seeing none, we'll go to item 11. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21-51C to discuss strategy with counsel concerning litigation. Motion made by Tom. Second by Tracy. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay. We'll take a little,
What time you want to start the Zoom meeting?
are we, that's a question for Brian.